yes, we received some speakers from Mediterranean countries and even from America. So we have, and from London, from UK, from a lot of countries. So it will be an international conference, but focused on Mediterranean issues today. So I will just make you a little presentation about APIdays events, and then Eduardo will explain you more APIdays Mediterranea, the program, because the program has just changed, but it goes better. And we will begin by presentations. So APIdays are a conference to gather the API industry and API economy actors, really with the pioneer spirit. This is why we have chosen garage. Everything begins in a garage. So this is why we've decided to begin here. And the idea is to gather all the actors into conference based on content. You will see it's presentation. It's not product-based presentation. It's really feedback from the fields and sharing knowledge. Really, what speakers have learned, they will share it with you today, and you will see, and I hope you will enjoy it. So the first one was Paris. It's not 500 attendees, it was 200, but we expect more next year. We had a lot of speakers, and some of the speakers are already there today too. So it's kind of a trust they give into this conference. So thank you for the speakers to be here. It was a success. All the videos are accessible on YouTube. You can see them, and all these videos of this event will be also accessible. And there is also streaming for people which cannot be there but wants to have the knowledge and the content. But I think here we have a lot of networking with the API actors in Madrid, in Spain, and even in Europe. And you have people from US, so really you are there, make the networking, because this is where we make the glue. API make the glue on the web, and APIdays events make the glue in the real life between API actors. So I will let Eduardo. Yes, we have a lot of sponsors. Some of them have decided to continue to sponsor even APIdays Mediterranea, and there will be also all other APIdays events this year in 4 weeks, 3 weeks now, and Paris at the end of the year. So the Parisian one will be the global conference. So even APIdays Mediterranea, you are also invited to come to other API conference. So you are apart from something which is coming bigger. So thank you to be there, and let's have a good API journey today. Thank you.
good thing for is this information sit in Spanish for the Spanish or Spanish-speaking people. And pass, please. Every talk will be 10 minutes length the talk.
Can you give me the clicker, please?
20 minutes of the speaker and 5 minutes of questions and answer. So we want to that the talk will be fast and technical oriented, technical or business oriented. We have some coffees and some networking time, and you can also use the meeting point that is there. Is the AG band. It's not blue, it's red, but this picture was better. So I want to introduce you Elena Álvarez, who was the Molino worker or the Molino part that went to APIdays Paris. And maybe she can talk us about her experience. Thank you.
Thank you. So I was the lucky one that got to attend APIdays Paris. I was also a speaker there. And for us, for Apicultur, it was the first experience that we had that was we had the chance to contact other companies and other projects that were involved in the API ecosystem. And for us, it was very, very interesting because, we were like working so hard in this project, and then, you go out and say, there's so many other people doing similar stuff, very interesting things. So when I got back from the APIdays experience in Paris, we were so sure we wanted to bring the APIdays experience to Madrid and to Spain, so we could all profit and have knowledge, share the knowledge with the other projects and companies that were involved in the API ecosystem. The truth is, and I don't think I told Mehdi about this, but the truth is, before going to Paris, I was a bit worried about having to talk to people because I'm not very good at that, like breaking the ice and everything. So I was talking to Edu before going there, like, okay, I'm a bit concerned about talking to other speakers, what I'm going to say. I'm terrible at that. So he said, maybe you could say that we are planning to do an API event sometime during 2013. Just use that to break the ice. So I wasn't really thinking that it was just an icebreaker, and when I got back, the experience was so good that in the end, 6 months later, we were having API days in Spain. So if you want to talk to some other attendees or anything, and you don't know how to break the ice, just say that you're planning to have an API event, and 6 months later, you will be having one. So, if you have any questions or anything, we will be happy to give you a hand as speakers, attendees. The guys over there can give you also a hand with slides, presentations, and everything. And I think I'll introduce Oliver Scrimgeour, who has been in contact with speakers and everything. So he's been giving us a hand with organization. So, Oliver.
Everybody, thank you. I'm sure you've all received a very annoying email from me at some stage. So thank you for coming. It's good to see you all. Essentially, I don't have a great deal to say other than to reiterate what Edu has been saying, which is as an opportunity to obviously listen to the talks and enjoy what all the expert speakers have to say about appies. But on top of that, speak to each other. It's a very good opportunity to communicate and to, using the neuron metaphor, as Edu did, share and decide whether you want to explore the appies a bit further. Also at the back there we have a sofa full of people who can help you with whatever needs you have. I'm an alleged linguist, so if you need any help with English at all, come and speak to me as well. And have a very good day.
Yeah, thank you, Apicultur. We have a clicker, because I'm very bad at to be a clicker. So yes, we will now. I would like to thank you, and we will have them. Kinlane from API Evangelist, who is a media sponsor of the event, and he will make the little warm-up of the event. We will also after receive WSO2, which is the sponsor of the event, and Isabelle Mauny will come here to present a little what they do. And then Thuray from Intel, he comes from the US to be for APIdays Mediterranea. So let's applaud them, and please Ken, come make the warm-up.
Good morning. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, everyone. My name's Kinlane. I'm the API Evangelist. I don't work for any company. I work for myself. So I've been doing APIs for about 8-9 years, but 3 years I've been studying APIs and trying to understand this space. So I'm here, I came to the first APIdays in Paris because I really believe that, I like Eduardo's slides on the global network, the brain. I really believe in that. And I don't see APIs as something technical. I don't see it as something Silicon Valley or startup. I see it as something more, something that everyone can participate in. And so I'm a big believer in getting people who aren't technical to understand what APIs are. And I think that's partially what this event is about, is bringing APIs to Spain and making sure that you guys have a strong voice in the global ecosystem. And I really believe in that. I think it's important, and I think everyone here needs to, come to the US when you can and play with APIs, get all of us coming over here and just have a conversation about APIs and what can be done, and not just the technical part. So I'm very happy to be here, and I guess I'm the first speaker today after the intros. But I'm going to talk a little bit about, my talk is kind of the history, how we got here, but also talking about where we're at with APIs and where we're going. And I hope to get you, if you're new to APIs, hope to introduce you to it. But if you're not new to APIs, hopefully get you a little bit excited about where we're going and what's going on. And then also talk about some of the important parts of APIs, and it's more than just technical. So I hope to cover kind of the whole world of APIs from a very high-level view, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Bueno, antes que se arregle la técnica. Sorry. I started in Spanish, just the habit. So good morning, everybody. Buenos días. ¿Qué más idiomas tenemos? Bonjour. Italian? Anybody Italian? Hey. Buongiorno. Okay, so I have about 10 minutes to tell you a bit about who we are and what we do. Thank the organization here for inviting us and becoming a sponsor of this event. So I decided to explain a bit where we come from and what we do, starting from... Is it not working? This is not full screen. No. I'm missing our yoga masters here. You have to go full screen. Okay, so just a bit of history of who we are. The two gentlemen you see on that picture, apart from being yoga masters, as you can see, are the co-founders of WSO2. The gentleman with the head on the left, going downstairs, is Sanjeeva. He's from Sri Lanka. Most of our employees are in Sri Lanka. And the gentleman on the right is Paul. He's from the UK. Unfortunately couldn't make it today. He's our CTO. So this company started in 2005 with an idea, which was sorry, to create a company centered around open source. So we're a full open source company. Everything we do is open source, every single product. We have a full, complete platform in terms of middleware, so I'm not going to get into details of this. I just want to show you the progression that we had over the time. So in 2006, this is the team that we had, a few people in Sri Lanka. This is the Java team. There's also the C team, about the same size, about 12, 13 people. And this is basically the platform we had. So we had the main product was an application server called Tungsten. They were very much into particles at the time, titanium, tellurium, this kind of things. That was the name of the product. And you can see here on the right, there is a list that says future or partner product. So there was already at the time, 2006, a vision of where we wanted to go. So 2013, this is where we are. It's a slightly larger team. As not everybody is on that picture. We're missing a few people. Don't worry, we don't get kids to work. There are some kids on that picture. It's just that once a year we do a big event all together. They all go to a beautiful resort somewhere in Sri Lanka. Usually they take over one hotel. This year it was 2 hotels. In 3 years from now, I think the idea is that, I don't know where we're going to fit all those people, but we want to double that picture. So to get to from 200 plus employees we are now to about 500. So we're really on a ramp up in terms of growing the company. Next, and this is where we are now. That's the entire platform. So, well, I'll be here all the full days. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this, look at API management. So innovation is like one of the key things in that tag cloud that I talked about. One of the key things that really we wanted to do, every single product you've seen on the chart before, we have created. So it's developed in-house. I just wanted to share a little thing that we did that shows the innovation and what our guys do. Back in WSO2 Cons, when we had our conference in February in London, Elena was there as well, so she saw this thing. This is a Raspberry Pi cluster. You guys know what a Raspberry Pi is, right? This little $25 computer. So our CEO is very famous for getting crazy ideas and then tell our developers to execute on these crazy ideas, and that's really how we innovate, actually. It works pretty well. So he said, I want to see all the WSO2 platform running on Raspberry Pis. And the guys were like, okay. That's not going to be enough to have one. We'll have to cluster them. So not only did they create a cluster of Clustery Pi, we could be in the Guinness for this, that didn't exist before. They also invented a power supply for them because the power supply didn't work. Normally you plug one of those on your computer and it works, but if you have 24 of them, which is what you have on that picture, that doesn't work anymore. So they had to invent their own power. They had to cluster all those things together. So now you say, well, this is cool, but what does that bring me as a consumer of WSO2? What this brings you is we had to make the WSO2 platform run on those things. We really had to very much optimize it. And that optimization is now in the base platform of every single product that we do. So that was really the result of that innovation. That was a really cool thing. So now in terms of API management, what do we do? Wow, that doesn't show too well, but we started working on the API manager back in February last year. In February, we had the first design sessions. In April, we started the beta. In July, it came out. December, we had the first production customers. February this year, we were the leader in the Forrester Wave in terms of analysts. And today, version 1.4 is coming out. Okay, so it's been a very intensive progression over time. In less than a year, we've been really far away. So what's the future? But really, for the future, I encourage you to come and listen to our sessions and to come and ask us questions. I have a colleague here, actually, if you want to know everything about Sri Lanka, he's the gentleman to ask, and everything about the USO2 as well. He will be here in a couple days with me, and I'm looking forward to talk to all of you in French, in Spanish, in English, anything that works for you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Oh. Yeah, the clicker works at random. So maybe we'll find a third clicker, but it's okay. So thank you, WSO2, for this presentation. Please welcome Andy Thuray from San Francisco and from US, from Intel, explaining you what Intel does in the API world. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm not even going to try to say anything in Spanish. I barely speak one half of one language, so I'll just stick with what I barely know, right? So this session was supposed to be introducing Intel. Let me ask you a question. How many of you not using Mac here? Not using MacBook? That's it? So you all don't need an introduction to Intel. You're already there, right? It's only the others need to know. As you can see, I'm Mehdi Thuray. I'm the Chief Architect Group CTO for the ACID Group, which does API as well as big data, right? A quick note before I forget. Ken Lane mentioned that he is an API evangelist. I'm going to give him a name now. I'm going to call him, is it me or he's starting to look more and more like Jesus Christ, right? So he is going to become the API Messiah now, right? Is it a good name? So since you have seen Intel last time, we have grown a foot. That's a joke, by the way. So we have grown a lot. We have done a lot of things in the API space, and we are growing fast, right? You might have seen we made a couple of strategic acquisitions in the API space, and that's not all. We are doing more in the space, right? So how many of you know Intel does software? See? Okay, 1, 2, and myself included 3. So that's the major problem we have when we go to the customers, right? In trying to explain people that Intel does software also, right? But if you look at the statistics, according to Forbes, actually they put the number out at 7. So if you were to spin the Intel software unit as a separate company, we are the top 7 largest company in the world. Not me suggesting, Forbes saying that, right? And our software unit, the software unit represents about 15% of the Intel's revenue. Keep in mind, Intel's revenue is close to $50 billion now. So you get the magnitude of how big the Intel software unit is. And recently, Intel Software's SVP, Renee James, has been named as the president of the company. So there are only bigger and better things to come from the software side of Intel, right? And obviously, you all have known the Intel strategy acquisition, specifically in the security and API space, specifically the last 2 that we acquired, Mastery and Apona, right? How many of you know who Mastery and Apona is? Really? Seriously? Come on. All right, next one, please. So on the API battlefront, when we set out to build these things, we looked at it. I come to love this slide, right? So what is wrong with this picture, other than the fact that the supposedly king dude can't even afford a footwear, right? But generally speaking, this king is going to a battle war with the wrong set of tools, because he's having a wrong set of tools, and he's going to fight a battle in the API front. And that's what we recognize and realize, that most companies, especially at the enterprise level, the big, huge enterprise corporations, are going to the battle with the wrong set of API tools. So we set out to build, acquire, whether it's organic or inorganic, to grow something to help those big enterprise companies. Again, we are not concentrating on the open source or smaller companies or ease of use. We are talking about huge enterprises, big enterprises, right? So when we set out to build that, we looked at the market and said, okay, what is the issue, real issue here? Almost all of the enterprises, they have the existing enterprises with the legacy, cloud, SOA, and other systems in place, proven, built over the course of the last 20, 25 years, working for them. The problem what they have is to integrate that with the other systems. That's issue number one we identified. The issue number two is how to package them and expose as APIs to the outside world. That's issue number two, of packaging the existing services or systems into APIs and expose to the outside world. That's issue number two. And then also, how do you protect the traffic in and out of APIs? That's in my mind, one of the least spoken areas of API security and how to harden the APIs, which I lecture on most times. How do you protect your information? When I'm talking about protecting the information, one part is, protecting the data by encrypting the channel, encrypting the message, and the other part is by tokenizing it, governing it, measuring it, metering it, monitoring who's using it, and provide some sort of a threat protection and so on and so forth. And then also, how do you broker the messages towards the newer set of developers, the newer set of devices, such as mobile devices and whatnot, and then cloud-based applications. Plus, on top of it, the newer one I recently wrote a blog about is about, how do you connect all these existing things to the newer set of what we call it as the Internet of Things, IoTs, right? And IoTs themselves introduce new channel of communication, new threat vectors, and requires a new storage area which requires protection as well. So that's it in a nutshell, right? The world is moving towards more of a distributed way of things, right? So I recently actually posted a blog on programmable web about this same very topic, with this very same picture. So it's not about mainframe or bigger systems building things for you anymore. It's all about distributed systems. It's all about interconnected systems all over the world, whether it's from a communications, retail, vehicles, medical, or industrial perspective, collecting all kinds of data by having sensors spread all over the world. Collecting all kinds of data, send it to your central repository or neural system, as they call it. And we are sending it. It's sending it in a different messaging format that you should be able to intercept and look at what's coming in the message. And then also you use a place to put that. Most organizations try to put that in Hadoop or big data architecture because most of this information that's coming in are unstructured. So it comes using different kind of messaging formats. So you want to store them as unstructured for analysis. And you should be able to analyze it to get the real value out of it. So how do you interconnect all of that together, right? Obviously, there are a bunch of sensors, interconnected internet systems, and then they're all exposed using APIs all over the place, and then you have a newer storage area. How do you connect them all together, right? Those are the three hardest trends in technologies in the world right now, or in the enterprise right now. So this is the newer Intel, right? Not the chips anymore. This is our API reference architecture. So how many of you know that Intel acquired Mastery? All right, not bad. 3, 4, 5. Well, that's actually surprising because only 3 of you know who Mastery is, and 5 of you know Intel acquired Mastery. That's a jump. So Intel API reference architecture, as you can see, we acquired Mastery to provide the couple of things, the portal side of area, but Intel itself had the gateway piece of it before. So we provide a holistic solution for the transport side of things using the gateway, for the portal side of things, for governance and to put APIs. And also we have a mobile middleware. I call that as the API management tier to expose your APIs to the end consumers. So that's one set of solutions we have. The second set is what we call it as the Intel compliance platform, which provides you the data loss preventions, federated ID brokering, PCI, PII, data tokenization and compliance, and API data protection and compliance in general. So that's a second platform. And the third one is based on the Apona side of things that we acquired, which allows you to do API monetization platform, such as how to expose that properly from multiple locations, multiple devices, multiple channels, and how to properly monetize that, right? So that's a third platform. And then the fourth one, which is organically grown, is what we call it as a API analytics tier. The graphic is a bit bad, you can't read. But this is generally based on the Hadoop platform and the analytics, the storage, the analytics, and the security to go with that. And this is completely built organic by Intel. How many of you know that Intel has Hadoop distribution. How many of you care? So that's in general about Intel's API reference architecture. So that essentially allows you to have the assets, whatever you have, whether it's a legacy assets, SOAP web-based services, RESTful services, or database services. Take all of what you got from your current existing services and expose in any way you want. And that's where we're going with that. So that's it in a nutshell about Intel, who we are, what we do. And if you want to follow us, where's our website? That's our web address. You can go and check it out. And that's me. And you can follow me on Twitter and or blogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. I want to speak about APIs also, and sometimes the technical people speak a lot of boxes on arrows on something, but for me an API is something simple, very simple. I need an answer. I make a question and I receive an answer. For me, it's the idea of the API. Later, the technical people need to build a lot of things for getting the answer, but like a user, for me, the idea of an API is something simple, very simple to use. I want to present Elena and Oli, who will speak you about some changes in the scheduling. Thank you.
Hello. Just to tell you, we have some minor last-minute changes, unexpected changes. So the scheduling has changed a bit. We'll be having now Kingslane presentation. Afterwards, we'll be having all in the same room. Instead of having two tracks, we'll be having just in room A the business of APIs sessions. And afterwards, we will have lunch. And after lunch, we will have the sessions concerning design of API and user experience. And after that, it will be Isabelle, Mauny from WSO2, Eduardo, and Mehdi from Webshell. Tomorrow's scheduling is almost the same. There will be hardly any changes. There will be different areas and their relation with APIs. So I'll leave you with Kinley, the API Evangelist.
Just to remember that everyone here, especially as foreigners people, have come here to speak with you. So speak with them, not only to make questions, you can also speak about your project